A whole paper towel can be too much or too little. Now there's Select-A-Size, the Bounty you customize. Special smaller sheets. Only Bounty lets you pick out 1 sheet for small jobs, 2 sheets for regular jobs, 3 sheets for large jobs. And it's 50% longer than regular Bounty. Select-A-Size, the Bounty you customize.
A quicker, thicker, bigger rubber.
Bounty Select-A-Size.
I love my Ross Calendar girl.
I love my Ross Calendar guy. We get great prices every day of the year.
Tops and bottoms for back to school. At department stores, $24. At Ross, $12. The only difference is the price. Young men's shirts and pants. At fine stores, $24. At Ross, $10. The only difference is the price.
My Ross Calendar guy. He gets great prices every day of the year.
The new sound of country music on the next Time Out, tonight at 7:30.
Next on CBS Sports, the PGA Championship.
One year ago at the Crooked Stick Golf Club in Carmel, Indiana, the golfing world was captivated by a new superstar.
We're thrilled about what you're doing. I'm with you.
Good luck.
From Memphis, Tennessee, John Daly.
It's been a year since John Daly amazed the sports world and became a true hero. Today at the Belle Reve Country Club in St. Louis, Missouri, with 36 holes remaining, another player will be looking to create a legacy of his own. Could be another long shot such as Kentuckian Russ Cochran. Or Jim Gallagher Jr. Stadler knows what it's like to win a major. For second-round leader Gene Sowers, the next 2 days could be the biggest of his career. But no one looms larger in a major than the presence of Nick Faldo. He finds himself only 2 shots back going into the weekend. One player is only 36 holes away from becoming the PGA champion.
CBS Sports proudly presents the 1992 PGA Championship. From Belle Reve Country Club in St. Louis, Missouri. This exclusive telecast is sponsored by Oldsmobile, official car of the PGA of America. TaylorMade, makers of the new System 2 and System 2 midsize metal wood clubs. And by Cintel, the telecommunications company where people connect.
The final major championship of '92 is being challenged here at the Belle Reve Country Club, about 15 miles west of St. Louis. Belle Reve was designed in 1960 by Robert Trent Jones, and amazingly, just 5 years after it opened, the U.S. Open was played here, with Gary Player winning in a playoff over Kel Nagel to become only the 3rd man to claim all 4 legs of the Grand Slam. Where are the hot, humid days of August? In St. Louis, it has felt like springtime all week, and it continues today. Sunny and cool, and more of the same tomorrow. Here is a look at the leaderboard as the group here of players will be starting their rounds momentarily. Gene Sowers in the final twosome going at 12:55 local time. Gary Hallberg 2 under today to get to 1 under for the tournament. Same goes for Tom Watson, looking for that elusive victory at the PGA Championship. Fred Couples has just bogeyed the second. Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Nance from our studio behind the 18th green, and welcome to CBS Sports coverage of the PGA. 5 of the last 6 PGA championships have been won by men claiming their first major, and now Gene Sowers is in position to be the next one. But look out, because England's Nick Faldo is in a tie for second and is trying to become the first man since 1924 and Walter Hagen to win both the British Open and the PGA Championship in the same year. Plus, he's trying, of course, to get all 4 legs of the Grand Slam. He's won 3 titles, 3 Open titles back home in England, and 2 Masters. He now needs a PGA and a U.S. Open, and he's in position this weekend to add the PGA to his list. Now, the final 5 pairings in the 3rd round. Rocco Mediate, who got back into the tournament with a 68 on Friday. He will be with Nick Price, Morgan, and Nelson. Nelson, a 2-time winner of the PGA Championship, 81 and 87. Stephen Richardson, who tied the course record set earlier in the day yesterday by Jim Gallagher with a 66 on Friday. 26-year-old Englishman playing with Craig Stadler. And there's Jim Gallagher, 72-66. He was the first to post that course record number yesterday. And he'll be with Nick Faldo in the next to last group. Gene Sowers and Russ Cochran. Sowers has won twice on tour, last at the Hawaiian in '89. Cochran, 1 victory, and that was the Western Open a year ago at Cog Hill. And now, let's send it upstairs to the 18th tower, to the gentleman as always. From there, and Pat Summerall, Ken Venturi, take it away.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. And Ken, it's been discussed, it's been analyzed. What are your thoughts about Bellerive?
Well, 1965, Pat, in the U.S. Open, it played par 70 and over 7,300 yards, but the PGA is par 71, and it's just a little over 7,100 yards. The prevailing wind is southwest, which makes the golf course play a little longer. But this is not a long hitter's golf course. If you hit it about 260 yards, you have about 30 yards of fairway to play with. You get to 280 or more, you're getting down to about 20 yards, and you must hit it in the fairway, but it favors a right-to-left player. Then the greens are averaging about 9,000 square feet, which makes it very difficult to get it close. So the secret here, Pat, is keep it in play, down the fairways, keep it under the hole, and that's the only way you're going to win the PGA.
We, of course, have the ability to cover all 18 holes, but our announcers will be stationed beginning at 15 with Peter Costas. Gary McCord will be at 16. Ben Wright will be at 17, and our colleague Bobby Clampett will be following the leaders as they progress around the course. Let's go out to the 3rd right now and pick up the action with Fred Couples. Par 3. Very nicely done by Couples, who just is coming off a bogey at number 2 to move from even to 1 over. Good chance to get it back here at 3. The famous and picturesque. Back at the first hole.
The first hole is a straightaway downhill par 4 measuring 434 yards. And this is the pairing of Stephen Richardson, the son of a professional from Leon Solent in Hampshire, England, and Craig Stadler. Looking down at it from above, that is the green in the middle of your picture, the middle lower area of your picture. It's a very straight hole. The 2 bunkers on the left come very much into play. It's 250 yards to get into the first of the bunkers on the left. It's 290 to get into the bunker on the right. And as you can see, it's mightily narrow between the sets of bunkers. Also the green with these cloverleaf bunkers favored by Robert Trent Jones Sr. And on the tee, Craig Stadler and Stephen Richardson. Stadler unmistakable. Let's go to the 13th.
Greg Norman, set to go. That was a 6-iron. Norman 1 under today. Just trying to make something happen. Back at 1.
Awaiting their tee times, and this is the time, obviously, when the butterflies are fluttering about in the abdomen. Let's go to the second hole.
Brad Faxon for a par, misses that. And let's go back to the first hole.
And on the tee, having been announced, Stephen Richardson, a member of the last European Ryder Cup team at Kiowa. And you see he's going with an iron. Very long hitter, not having a good season. But that is dead solid, perfect start to his round.
Next on number 1 tee from Rancho Santa Fe, California, Craig Stadler.
And the Walrus is ever extremely popular. Started down the left. Oops, and that's in deep rough. But the good news is probably been trampled down. And now at the first green, Larry Nelson for a birdie after a conspicuously good second shot. Just the way you want to start your round. He moves to 3 under par. Larry, after rounds of 72 and 68, started at 2 under par, 140. Par here is 71 as we go to the third.
Fred Couples for birdie, which he dearly needs. Memories of a 6 here on Thursday. Back to 2.
Second hole, 437. Brian Clare, that gets him to -2. And they're off and running here in the third round. Gene Sowers ahead by 2 from a group consisting of Faldo, Cochran, and Jim Gallagher Jr.
It didn't happen in Germany, nor in Japan. It happened right here. An all-new car, born of intelligent engineering. The Oldsmobile 88 Royale. You may have seen it. Now come drive it. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Something very strange is happening on the PGA Tour. More and more pros are giving up their tailor-made drivers, the #1 driver on the tour. Why? Introducing the tailor-made System 2 for improved distance, trajectory, and control. Actually, it's not so strange at all. The new System 2 and System 2 midsize from TaylorMade.
I think my dad works harder than any other dad in the world. But he still shows up at all my games. He says it's because he's such a great guy. But I think it's because he put a phone in his truck. I think I play better when he's here.
One of the things the Republicans will be talking about Monday is one of the things 60 Minutes will be talking about Sunday.
At 13, Greg Norman for birdie.
With some authority. Back at 1.
Craig Stadler from the deep rough to the right of the fairway. That was a 6-iron for Stadler. And that's just about as good as he could hope for in the gap between the bunkers as we go forward to the third.
Brian Clare three playing 159 yards today. 2 under. Back to 1.
And the second shot from the middle of the fairway of young Stephen Richardson. He's, as I say, had a poor season in Europe this year. A tie for 26th place was his highest finish coming into this championship. But if you will remember, he played very well at Crooked Stick. He was never in contention, but played conspicuously well and finished 5th. Looks like a 7-iron. Very strong grip. Very strong player. Very nicely played. Copybook opening. And now up on the tee, Nick Faldo and Jim Gallagher Jr. and Jock Olson of the PGA of America. And young Bobby Clampett, you're going to be going with this group?
Good afternoon, Ben. Yes. Jim Gallagher Jr. doing some loosening up exercises, and Nick Faldo pulling out what appears to be a driver the hole today, playing into the wind, and it's a very good driving hole.
And significantly in these days of modern technology, both players going with a wooden driver.
And I'm actually, you know, the play with the driver is a very bold play off this first tee today, and we'll go to 14.
Payne Stewart for par at 14. Hole plays 411, and if you have it on the left-hand side of the green, the cup, it is almost impossible to find the hole or see the pin if you're in the center of the fairway. And now forward to 15.
And our first look at the 15th hole. Paul Azinger, this left for his par 4. Good round for Paul today. He's 2 under par so far, +1 for the tournament. Starting to make a move. Couldn't believe his first putt didn't break. And let's go back to 14.
Bruce Litsky for birdie, much needed at 9 over par for the tournament. And many thought coming into here he was favored to win here, but this golf course needs a right to left tee shot, and we'll go back to the first tee.
Jim Gallagher Jr., son of a professional, married to an LPGA pro, golf steeped in the family. Look good, Bobby.
Just fading a little bit to the right side. If it's too long, it'll catch the rough.
No, it's perfect.
Just right.
Next on number 1 tee, from England, Nick Faldo.
In some books, this British player, Nick Faldo, the British Open champion, started as a prohibitive favorite at 4-1. He's justifying it at 4 under par after rounds of 68 and 70. 4 under par total of 138.
And it's really amazing what an intimidating first tee shot this is. Into the wind and very narrow. The fairway's only 25 yards wide where the players are hitting it with a driver.
Is that going to be hooked into the bunker, Bobby?
Yes, it's going in the left rough. Right of the bunker, though.
And it has nestled down invisibly. So not the start he wanted. His caddy, Fanny Sunesson from Sweden, whose brother is a formidable pro, to 6.
6th hole, 197 yards. That's a 4-iron, Tom Watson. Tom's got a pin high to the left, good shot. You won't find too many balls to the right of this pin. Let's go to 1.
And the birdie putt of Stephen Richardson. That's very disappointing. The greens have not been at all fast for this championship, averaging a maximum average of about 9, and I think that has tricked the players. He will finish out. And will remain at 3 under par. Earlier, Stadler from in front of the green. Oh, what a wonderful effort by Stadler. That's great. Made certain of his par from a very unpromising drive. We'll go back to the third.
Brian Clare for birdie. This is earlier. And Brian will remain 2 under. Playing with Brad Faxon. But Clare just 4 behind the leader. And let's go to 2.
And there's a look at this extreme dogleg to the left. Most of the holes out here at Belle Reve Country Club have some curve in them. Larry Nelson probably drove it in some trees or something. And there you got a good look just right in the middle of your screen right there. You see the bunker on the right. The players try to get as close to that bunker as possible. And then from there go about their business. To the left in the corner of the dogleg, if you really get excited, there's a creek and a pond back over there. Zoysia fairways. These fairways are absolutely perfect. They're like Velcro sitting there with an attitude. They stick straight up, the ball's right up, and you can really spin the ball off these fairways. And that was not a good shot, as Larry kind of on the descending blow didn't go too quick on it. And let's go back to the first hole and see what Nick's got.
Nick's got trouble. Let's go to the 18th first.
Tom Kite just below our tower, just finishing for birdie. And they have been rare.
As he walked off the green, Pat, he said, "How do you like my tee shot at 11 yesterday?" In case you weren't watching, he hit the Gary about 50 yards off the tee.
Back at 1.
Nick Faldo in all kinds of trouble. Bobby Clampett, are you near enough to see?
I got a good look at it, Ben. He's got 182 yards in a bluegrass lie that's settled down too bad, but it's a downhill lie, meaning that he'll not really be able to get more than about a 7-iron on the ball. And look for this ball to land just short of the green. He'll try to run it up the gap between the bunkers.
Got very good contact there.
And he's done just that. He's put it right up between the bunkers. Perfect line, but the grass was a little soft in front of the green and it pulled up short. He really hit a good shot.
Almost identical to the result of Craig Stadler's just before him. And the last group of the day waiting on the tee, Gene Sowers. You see there the leader by 2 shots after rounds of 67 and 69. And that's the second shot of Jim Gallagher Jr. on his way with a 5-iron, which he did not like. And you can see why. He's pulled it a long, long way from the hole on these huge greens. As Ken Venturi was saying, about 9,000 square feet average to 6.
Ben, that's about the size of most of these guys' houses. Tom Watson. This hole right here is just very difficult. Get your 3 and get out of here. Let's go over to Freddie Couples on the 4th hole.
Freddie Couples now. This is for Eagle. They have only had 2 eagles on this hole this week. They're playing 556 yards. So Freddie has had a kind of an up and down start today, as he did on Thursday.
Larry Nelson on the 2nd hole. This is for a par. Oh, and you can see the speed of these greens is starting to creep up a little bit. The first couple of days, we didn't have very fast greens at all. In fact, a lot of the guys are complaining these are probably the slowest greens I've ever seen in a major. But now they're starting to get quick. If they get quick, oh my goodness, is this a hard golf course. And let's go forward to the 3rd hole.
Nick Price. And this is for birdie for Nick. His game has really been solid of late, except perhaps for the putter. Playing with Rocco Mediate. Oh, back over to number 1.
Last pairing of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Tom
next to play, please, from Savannah, Georgia, Gene Sowers.
Rounds of 67, 69 for a 6-under par total of 136. Such an important tee shot. Daunting first hole of 434 yards. He's drawn a pretty good lie there.
Russ Cochran.
And the champion of all left-handers, Russ Cochran, 69-69, 4-under par total of 138. Winner of the Western Open last year in dramatic fashion over Greg Norman. Just in the first cut of rough. That's Jim Gallagher Jr.'s long approach putt, leaving him a tester for his par. This was Nick Faldo's third shot earlier. Little pitch and run. Beautifully done. On line to go in. To the second hole.
Craig Stadler, perfect position here. Pin is in the back right portion of the screen. Ooh, Waller's got a little energetic with that one. He's going to have a tough time playing about 4 or 5 holes out here. He plays the ball left to right and calls for right to left a lot out here. Let's go to 1.
And the par putt of Jim Gallagher Jr., this to remain 4 under. That is the start you just don't want. A bogey for Jim Gallagher Jr. drops into 3 under par, and Nick Faldo has this par putt to remain at 4 under. And so far, the best start of the leading groups by Brian Clare. Safely in for Nick Faldo, as one might expect. Rock solid par. To the second.
Craig Stadler in the bunker. Just past the pin. Pretty aggressive shot. Bunkers here are just fantastic. Sand is just perfect for these guys to get the ball close. As we're just starting here the 3rd round, Gene Sowers still got a 2-shot lead.
This child was once a fantasy, but thanks to surgery with an NEC laser, a young couple gave birth to their dream. Children in Zambia need more than food. And thanks to an NEC computer network, a charity can also afford to give them food for thought. Billy can't travel to the Maestro, but with NEC teleconferencing,
Bravo, bravo.
they're in harmony. NEC, caring through technology.
Things you never heard about a brand cereal before.
Wow.
If you've never heard this about a brand cereal, try Kellogg's Frosted brand. It's different. It's lightly frosted, and it's crunchy, so it tastes delicious. Kellogg's Frosted Bran. It sure doesn't sound like bran. Oh, one more thing you never heard.
You know that's bran you're eating. I know, it's great.
Just northwest of Kalispell, Montana, there's a place where you can punch cattle instead of a time clock and discover what horsepower is really about. It's the Hargrave Cattle and Guest Ranch, where you can ride them and rope them like they used to. But if you go, you got to pull your own weight and pull out your Visa card. Because at Hargrave, they don't take the tin horns and they don't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Just because you go all out, doesn't mean you got to stink. Not if you're wearing this. And here comes your chance to prove it. And you will, because Old Spice works. Man, does it work. Fights wetness, kills bacteria. The proof?
Hey, hotshot.
You're looking at her.
Old Spice antiperspirant for great odor protection. You demand proof, not promises.
18 holes of coverage in the third round at Belle Reve, hosting a major for the first time since '65 in the U.S. Open. And that Open was won by Gary Player. Out to the first, Ben.
Thank you, Jim. Gene Sowers drew a very good lie in the rough. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That can happen when the adrenaline is pumping through your system. Just hit flyers like that. And that's going to be a real problem for Sowers. Now, Cochran. Well, that's right on line. Perhaps could have used another club. To 2.
All right, okay. No, that'll be fine. Sure, thank you. All right, we're booked on a different airline, arriving in Los Angeles 30 minutes behind Cricket and Michael.
There's no way we can get on an earlier flight?
That's the only flight available. Look, as long as we get to the hotel quickly, we'll be there to help if Cricket needs us.
All right, are you going home to pack?
Oh, no time. It's all right. I've got my toothbrush in my briefcase.
Okay, what about the wire?
Got it right here?
Kind of bizarre, isn't it? When you and I leave this apartment, we'll be on one track. Michael and Cricket will be on a parallel track.
And hopefully the two will never cross.
Unless something goes wrong. God, I hate the way that sounds.
I know. Look, let's face it. This could ruin Baldwin's life, maybe even send him to prison. If he gets wind of what Cricket's up to while she's alone with him, there's no telling what he might do.
You mean that? You think this could get out of hand?
Cricket, we have to consider every possibility. Now, obviously, Michael plans to make a major play for you while in Los Angeles. At the same time, you know he's already suspicious. He'll be watching you like a hawk.
If you make one false move, he's going to be onto you.
And frankly, we don't know what could happen then.
That's why John and I are coming along to Los Angeles.
You are?
We'll be on a different flight. Honey, think about it. It's the only way.
I don't know. I feel like I could handle whatever comes up.
No one doubts your capability, but why not have some backup?
Because I don't know if it's a good...
Hold on a second. This is non-negotiable. I'm not going to sit here 2,000 miles away from you while you're taking all these chances. No way.
Okay. Just know if Michael sees you, all of this will have been for nothing.
Don't worry. We'll be careful.
All right, that's settled, right? Okay. Now we have 2 serious pieces of business. First, you have to call Michael's secretary and find out the name of your hotel in Los Angeles. And second, we have to test the centerpiece of our scheme.
That thing better work this time. Too much depends on it.
You rang, boss?
Yeah. Were you able to get a hold of Laura?
I talked to her secretary. Lauren had an early marketing meeting. It was due to wrap up at any minute, and Marjorie was going to have her come directly here.
Good.
Isn't this all a little strange, Paul? The judge calling a meeting like this in her chambers with no lawyers?
Yeah, I suppose it's a little unusual.
I mean, it's not
What's a little unusual?
Oh, great.
You're here.
I came as soon as Marjorie gave me the message.
Well, maybe you should call Marjorie again and have her clear the decks for a couple of hours.
Why? What's up?
The judge called. She said she'd like to meet with the principals informally in her chambers today.
Why did they call here instead of my office?
Well, they said they tried, but there was no answer. And evidently you gave this office as your second number.
I did?
Well, I did. I set things up that way.
Well, aren't you sweet? Looking out for me. Lynn, isn't he the greatest? Taking care of me.